Hey, welcome back. I wanted to give a big shout out to Jimmy Kimmel today for for proving once again that he does not in any way, shape, or form have freedom of speech. Now, tell me I'm the only one that doesn't notice this. This illusion that you have freedom of speech in America is mind-boggling to me. Now, I have freedom of speech here on whatever platform I decide to put this video on, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. I found, look, I've never been a fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I don't like politics. That's not what this is about. It's not about him getting fired. It's not about him getting his job back. It's about the fact that he's an actor playing a role in a false movie that really doesn't have any impact on society except to prove to people who actually think for themselves that the entire notion of free speech is a big giant bullshit story. I don't think Jimmy can say bullshit on national television, can he? Probably not. Therein lies the point to the whole conversation. I did a video yesterday about a young man who took his own life because he was abused on social media. And that's the dark, 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 dark side of social media. And we need to stop that. We really do. It's not fair for people to lose their lives. It's also not fair to take a person's life because somebody has brainwashed you into thinking that that person is the enemy. But if we're going to talk about freedom of speech, we have to have an honest conversation about it. Now, I want you to go into a courtroom and try arguing with a judge. I want you to go into a courtroom and try arguing with the opposing attorney. It doesn't exist. See, you don't have freedom of speech. You really don't. You have freedom of speech here and on other platforms, and Jimmy Kimmel exposed that last night in his monologue. He talked about all the people that reached out and that supported him and had his back and all that stuff. And he referenced certain countries. And I want you to listen to this. This is really important. And I found it to be really, really funny. Ireland was mentioned in his monologue. He specifically mentioned Ireland. And the reason he mentioned that is if you Google it, or if you look it up, or if you ChatGPT it, or Grok it, which is what I use mostly, and it's most likely on YouTube. I think I saw it on TikTok. There's a segment on RTE, which is the national television station of Ireland. Now, there's a segment on there that was done by Pat Keelty. He's he has a show called The Late Late Show. It's a very similar show to Kimmel, except it's in Ireland. And he did this whole big monologue where he basically said, Jimmy, we just want you to know that you can come to Ireland anytime. You can come here to RTE studios. Now, he goes, a lot of people tried to shut us down too, and they weren't successful, Jimmy. So we have a desk here for you. We have a camera here for you. We have a little studio here for you. So you can come over to Ireland here anytime you like. And we want you to know, Jimmy, this one very, very important thing. In Ireland, we don't give a fuck what you say, and you can say any fucking thing you want. Did you hear that? Did you hear that clearly? Did you hear the beep? No, you didn't. For two reasons you didn't. Number one, he can say that in Ireland. Of course, the place that you constantly see the American government and the American media and some social media tell you about how bad things in Europe are, and how you can't say this and you can't say that and you can't talk about this one, you can't talk about that one. But yet, they can very proudly say fuck on national television. Not just, this is national, this is the nationally sanctioned. Ireland has its own version of the FCC, and he said it. Contrast that to Jimmy Kimmel last night, who's said it, I believe, once or twice, and it was beeped out. And the really stupid part was at the end, when he had De Niro do that little segment on the so-called mafia, the mob. And how many times did he say the word fuck? And every single time it was beeped out. And the entire monologue was based on the fact that, screw you, Mr. President, we can say anything we want. We have freedom of speech. You can't fire me. Your FCC chairman can't fire me. Well, Jimmy, you were fired before you even started. You and every other individual who is on the government-controlled media. Folks, it's time for you to wake up. The other really important thing that you need to know about that monologue last night, and I'm going to say something nice at the end, but I want you to follow this for a second. The other thing that it was glaringly obvious to me last night, was if you watched the monologue till the end, pay very close attention to the part where Jimmy Kimmel said, I know I don't get much viewership, or I don't get much, what's the word I'm looking for? Put it in the comments down below, because I'm having a brain freeze right now. I don't have many people viewing my show. Ratings, I don't get great ratings or viewership. He said, but I did tonight on YouTube. And I want you to understand that. The reason he didn't get good ratings on national television is syndicated TV stations didn't carry the show. So, a few million people didn't see it anyway. And I'm sure that it did get high ratings last night. But the whole thing is a big, giant farce. Now, am I saying that we need to have total free speech? Well, yeah. But I'm also very aware of the fact that we actually don't. You have a nationally controlled media. And by the way, Trump didn't tell Jimmy Kimmel last night that he couldn't say fuck. Trump didn't tell Robert De Niro last night that he couldn't say fuck. They have not been allowed to say fuck long before Donald Trump came into office. Now, do I disagree with what Brendan Carr said, the FCC chairman? Of course I do. Do I disagree with Disney firing Jimmy Kimmel to begin with? Of course I do. But Disney is done anyway, and I'm going to make another video on that actually in a few minutes. But I disagree with all that, and I disagree with politicians dictating what to do, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about freedom of speech. You don't have freedom of speech. And maybe it would be better off if Jimmy Kimmel just got off national media and started his own YouTube channel or his own streaming channel on a platform where he is actually allowed freedom of speech. He won't do that though, and I'm going to tell you why he won't do that. Because it just doesn't pay as much. And he would have to start all over again, building an audience, which he currently technically doesn't even have. So he's destined to live and die by the big lie that is freedom of speech. It doesn't exist. You don't have it, you never had it, and you don't have it in other countries either. The Europeans were smart enough to allow people to say fuck on national television. And by the way, it is the most universally used word on the planet. It's probably used as much, if not more than hello or good morning. So it is kind of stupid that we're not allowed to say that on national television in the United States, in the so-called First Amendment country that prides itself on this forever. But now let me finish by saying this, and I have to say up front, I said it before, I'm not a fan of Jimmy Kimmel, but his monologue, the guts of his monologue last night, I thought was very well done. And he made fat jokes about Trump. I don't like fat jokes. I said it in yesterday's video. I was called fatso as a kid. It's very hurtful. And there is an elitism in America, especially in Hollywood. And it's a very liberal thing. They don't like fat people. I'm sorry. They don't like it. And you're considered less than if you're overweight. Meanwhile, a lot of their shows are sponsored by companies who make people fat and who have been making people fat for a long, long time, and they don't say a word about that. So there is hypocrisy, but I got to get off that because I didn't want it to be about that. But his monologue was very good. He spoke in a very, very emotional way, and I felt his emotion. I really do. And if you like him or dislike him, you can't deny the fact that he really, really did show true emotion during his monologue. Jimmy Kimmel understands how words can destroy people. He's a shitty comedian. He does not know how to make a joke. And I'm hoping that he stays away from making funny jokes around really serious political issues, or especially issues where somebody died, and it doesn't matter who died. I don't think you can make jokes about death in any way, shape, or form. So anyway, look, I appreciate you watching. Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. I just wanted to get this out there. Shout out to Jimmy Kimmel for having his job back. Shout out to him for doing a nice monologue. I thought it was really nice. Shout out to him for making fun of everything. But Jimmy, the last thing you have is freedom of speech. Don't kid yourself, buddy.